Something new for America. But how in God's name could that happen here?
There have been warnings that hurricanes would get stronger. There were warnings that this hurricane, days before it hit, would breach the levees, would cause the kind of damage that it ultimately did cause. And one question we as a people need to decide is how we react when we hear warnings from the leading scientists in the world. There was another storm in the 1930s of a different kind, a horrible, unprecedented storm in continental Europe, and Winston Churchill warned the people of England that it was different from anything that had ever happened before, and they had to get ready for it. And a lot of people did not want to believe it, and he got real impatient with all the dithering. And he said this: "The era of procrastination, of half measures, of soothing and baffling expedients, of delays is coming to its close. In its place, we are entering a period of consequences."
Making mistakes in generations and centuries past would have consequences that we could overcome. We don't have that luxury anymore. We didn't ask for it, but here it is.
Al Gore is the winner of the national popular vote, but the state of Florida, whomever wins there, wins the White House.
Florida in the Al Gore column.
Bulletin: Florida pulled back into the undecided column.
George Bush is the president-elect of the United States. He is one.
Florida goes Bush. The presidency is Bush. That's it.
And at 2:18 this morning, we project. All right, we're officially saying that Florida is too close to call.
While I strongly disagree with the court's decision, I accept it. I accept the finality of this outcome.
Bush do solemnly swear
I, George Walker Bush, do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute the office of President.
Well, that was a hard blow, but what do? You make the best of it. It brought into clear focus the mission that I had been pursuing for all these years, and I started giving the slideshow again.
One often unnoticed effect of global warming is it causes more precipitation, but more of it coming in one-time big storm events, because the evaporation off the oceans puts all the moisture up there. When storm conditions trigger the downpour, more of it falls down. The insurance industry has actually noticed this. Their recovered losses are going up. You see the damage from these severe weather events. And 2005 is not even on this yet. When it does, it'll be off that chart. Europe has just had a year very similar to the one we've had, where they say nature's been going crazy. All kinds of unusual catastrophes, like a nature hike through the book of Revelations. Flooding in Asia. Mumbai, India, this past July. 37 inches of rain in 24 hours. By far the largest downpour that any city in India has ever received. A lot of flooding in China also. Global warming paradoxically causes not only more flooding, but also more drought. This neighboring province, right next door, had a severe drought at the same time these areas were flooding. One of the reasons for this has to do with the fact that global warming not only increases precipitation worldwide, but it also relocates the precipitation. And focus most of all on this part of Africa, just on the edge of the Sahara. Unbelievable tragedies have been unfolding there, and there are a lot of reasons for it. But Darfur and Niger are among those tragedies. And one of the factors that has been compounding them is the lack of rainfall and the increasing drought. This is Lake Chad, once one of the largest lakes in the world. It has dried up over the last few decades to almost nothing, vastly complicating the other problems that they also have. The second reason why this is a paradox, global warming creates more evaporation off the oceans to seed the clouds, but it sucks moisture out of the soil. Soil evaporation increases dramatically with higher temperatures. And that has consequences for us in the United States as well.
So this is the Carthage exit. When I was 14 years old, I totaled the family car right there. Went off that shoulder, turned it over. And see this black Angus bull? We raised black Angus. My father was named Breeder of the Month. He grew up on a farm all through his career in the Senate. He continued to come back here, raise cattle. Learning it from your dad on the land, that's really something special. My childhood upbringing was a little unusual in the sense that I spent 8 months of each year in Washington, D.C. in a small little hotel apartment. And then the other 4 months were spent here on this big, beautiful farm. I had a dog here. I had a pony here. I could shoot my rifle here. I could go swimming in the river here, go out and lay down in the grass. As a kid, it took me a while to learn the difference between fun and work. The places where people live were chosen because of the climate pattern that has been pretty much the same on Earth since the end of the last ice age 11,000 years ago. Here on this farm, the patterns are changing. And it seems gradual in the course of a human lifetime, but in the course of time as defined by this river, it's happening very, very quickly.
2 canaries in the coal mine. First one is in the Arctic. This, of course, is the Arctic Ocean, the floating ice cap, Greenland on its side there. I say canary in the coal mine because the Arctic is one of the 2 regions of the world that is experiencing faster impacts from global warming. This is the largest ice shelf in the Arctic, the Ward Hunt ice shelf. It just cracked in half 3 years ago. The scientists were astonished. These are called drunken trees, just going every which way. This is not caused by wind damage or alcohol consumption. These trees put their roots down in the permafrost, and the permafrost is thawing, and so they just go every which way now. This building was built on the permafrost and has collapsed as the permafrost thaws. This woman's house has had to be abandoned. The pipe